The vice president is just too busy for your questions. It's been 64 days and counting since emerging as the Democratic nominee. Kamala Harris still has not done a single news conference, keeping those reporters and unscripted moments at arm's length, but giving her open arms to Oprah. The Wall Street Journal's Peggy Noonan is calling Harris a, quote, artless dodger who evades every question of substance. And undecided voters seem to agree with that. They want Harris to get out there and explain her policies, but the vice president's allies and advisors don't see what the big deal is. Some arguing that she just doesn't have the time.
I have incredible confidence in both the vice president and Governor Walz. They have shown that they are happy warriors. They are able to answer tough questions, and they are eager to get back into the debate.
He does not have to do it, Kara. I'm going to just cut to the chase. In fact, she's put out policies on her campaign website. Anybody who's truly interested can go and read about them.
She's done interviews, and I know that we would love, or you would love, to see her sit down every single day with CNN and do interviews, but she's a very busy person.
I just said I'm not going to vote for her.
Is not running for perfect. She's running against Trump. We have two choices, and so there are some things you might not know her answer to.
But a press conference or two, it wouldn't hurt, right? Might even grease the wheels for a candidate who's a bit rusty when it comes to off-the-cuff chatter. Harris just had a slip-up where she referred to Donald Trump as the former vice president. Watch.
Well, you probably heard I would like another debate, so I'm hoping the former vice president will agree to that.
And so much for an election year tradition. Vice President Harris is going to skip this year's Al Smith dinner, missing out on a chance to show off her funny side, and she's got one. Here's Donald Trump's best singers from 2016.
I don't know if you know Hillary, but last night they said that was the most vicious debate in the history of politics, presidential debate, the most vicious. And I don't know, are we supposed to be proud of that, or are we supposed to be unhappy? Hillary accidentally bumped into me, and she very civilly said, "Pardon me."
Okay, well, just for a moment to say, this is our brand new studio. Do we love it?
It looks amazing.
We love it.
And we
very
think
lit up.
It is bright and shiny, and it's got all the bells and whistles that we're going to need to keep serving you, our viewers. So let's get to this news. One of the things I was thinking about, Jessica, is that a surrogate like the four that we saw, it's very hard to go out there and do everything on your own if the candidate herself is not giving you anything to work with. And you can see this, even like with the celebrities that were at the Oprah event last week. They've got nothing to say because she's not saying anything. And they said that it was going to change, but now we're 43 days and counting.
Well, we have seen a huge increase in the number of things that she is doing. I'm not saying that it's enough or that this is full tilt, but it's very clear from what's been put out into the press and people that I've spoken to in the orbit that there is a plan. Now, will it work? I don't know. We'll find out on November 5th. But so far, she continues to climb in the polls and to get good news, to have huge fundraising moments, to start besting Trump on categories where he was way ahead of President Biden. I mean, from the NBC poll over the weekend, she's now 9 points up on who represents change. Undecideds are ticking up in terms of her favorability. She is doing things like the local ABC News interview in Philadelphia. She's on Wisconsin Public Radio today. She is zeroed in on the swing states where she needs to go. And I think that she has, in a lot of ways, learned lessons from past campaigns. Remember, in the autopsy was written about Hillary Clinton's loss. She didn't go to Wisconsin. Kamala Harris isn't making that kind of mistake. She's out there talking to voters directly. And I don't know, I don't hear that many people besides Brett Stevens complaining that she's not giving them what they want. I mean, maybe you're right, and maybe you're closer to me, but everything that I read yesterday in the New York Times was that undecideds are saying, like, we have no idea what she's for. And they didn't like the Oprah interview, they didn't like the ABC interview, and they really didn't like the one that she did in North Carolina because that ended up having to be walked back as well.
And you know, we're talking about a lot of people on the left right now. Look, the Democrats have a sense of entitlement, condescension, that she doesn't need to do it. And the only thing that I can think of is, remember when Hillary was running in 2016, she had the press roped off. So she walked down the street and the press was roped off as though, look, I'm going to be coronated. None of you little people worry about it. And I think that's a mentality that they have right now. And then when she's asked about one of the most important, if not the most important question, what can you do about the economy? Again, she answers, just like at the first debate, you know, what can we do to invest in the aspiration and the ambitions and the dreams of Americans while we challenge what happened in the past? You are the past. You're the one who created it. But I think her missing the Al Smith dinner, that's the thing that really shocked me, because no one's missed it in 40 years. This is a dinner where presidential candidates go. They can hate each other on the trail, but they go and they laugh it off. Kamala has laughed for 3.5 years. You would think that this would be the kind of place she'd be really comfortable in. But you know what they said? They said she's got to be working on the campaign. They don't tell us where, but she's got to be. What does she have to work on? I mean, she's got the Biden-Harris money. She's got the Biden-Harris delegates. She's got the Biden-Harris debate a campaign staff, and she even has the Biden-Harris plan that still has the name Biden in it. All she has to do is plug in and go. Why can't she answer these questions? And Donald Trump is 78 years old. He's running circles around her. He's all over the place, going wherever he needs to. And I think it's just, again, we'll know at the end what works and what doesn't, but I think that it is because she's scared, she's afraid, and she's not confident, and neither is her team.
That Al Smith dinner, Tyrus, is one that it's about unity. And she says, you know, it is a great opportunity, and she will cede the ground to him. Now, if they send a surrogate for her, I think that would be maybe unfair even.
Well, as you know, I grew up in a lower middle class family, and I had a lot of procrastinators. But the one thing we did do on the weekends is we showed up for the parties. And this is a party. Yeah. And you show up. But if you're not quick on the trigger, or you can't say things without them being memorized, this is a dangerous event for you. I think we're seeing exactly what we're going to see. She is a social media candidate. She does things, and whomever is pulling the strings and telling her what to do and not to do is probably the same person who's been pushing, or a group of people who've been pushing the policy for the last 3.5 years. So it's much the same that we've seen. She can't perform in the moment when you need her to. She never can just sit around, and she doesn't have the ability like Barack did or Bill Clinton did, to where a bunch of the gaggle will come up and they'll laugh and talk and tell great stories and give you a piece of policy here and there. She just has not shown any of that, and they know it. So why send her up to failure? They'll just stick what they're doing. They're going to try to TikTok their way to the White House. And if that works, I personally don't. I think it's 10% to 10%. I don't think this is a close election anymore. I think everyone's kind of seen enough. You can have, when you control the mics and when you control the cameras, it looks good to say she's doing great and have all these pundits come up that the first time you ask them a question, they do what? They get aggressive. They talk to her because they're angry, they're frustrated, because this is not a close. American people see it now. This is just like a Bud Light situation. Everyone was like, oh, but the influencers and this and this and this. But the people who buy it don't buy it anymore. And no one's buying this anymore.
One of the surrogates, Jesse, said she's too busy to do interviews about her candidacy because she's the sitting vice president. But also, she is the sitting vice president who isn't responsible for any of the policies of the current administration.
You know, Dan, if I had the whole media out there telling everybody I was a coward, I'd say, stop, hold a press conference right now, ask me anything. Do an hour and a half. Let me see what you got. Mm-hmm. She can do that anytime she wants, but she doesn't, because she's not in control of her own campaign. She's a puppet, and it's clear she's a puppet. She doesn't have the chops to do it. Now, if she's going to be the first female president of the United States of America, you have to show that you're an open book, and you have to show that you can compete on a level playing field with your opponent. You can't just inherit some old guy's money, take his delegates, and then have this chauffeur just drive you all around the press like they're the paparazzi. That's not going to fly. She did do a couple interviews, black journalists, Oprah, local Philly, CNN. She bombed them all. Yeah. And they were asking her the same questions every time. How are you going to fix the border, and how are you going to lower prices? And she couldn't answer the questions. These are problems she created, and she's running on fixing the problems that she created, but she won't tell you the solutions. Absolutely not. One of the surrogates says, well, you know, Not everybody needs to know everything. We still don't know why she hid Joe Biden's mental decline. Or how about this question, Kamala Harris, why'd you let 20 million illegal aliens into the country? Or Kamala Harris, well, why did all the prices go up when you were in charge? And why didn't you do anything about it? Or why is the world now in a mess when it wasn't under Donald Trump? These are easy questions. Or how about, why do you want us to pay for sex changes for migrants in detention? Why did you want to legalize prostitution? Why did you want to decriminalize heroin? These aren't just a few things. This is everything. And the voters can smell fear. We're like dogs. We smell it, and one guy's trying to get bankrupt. They're trying to shoot him, and he's still out there fearless. The other person's afraid of Martha. Sweet little Martha and little Brett, the sweetest people we could ever see. And that tells you everything.
Sweeter than Peter
so you're
Ducey?
still not
Sweeter
nervous?
than little Peter Ducey. No.
So you're still not nervous?
It's tight, but like Tyra said, if I had money on it, Trump wins.
Okay.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.